All right, y'all. Part two. You know how they do. We're gonna get right to it, baby. Right to it. Okay. Belial program. Y'all basically got what I was trying to say. Okay. They say the closer that you get to this mathematical, you know how they say numbers don't lie. The closer you get to that, the closer that you can understand the mathematical equations and things like that, calculations and all that. That's the closer you're gonna get to the this mystery that's going on in this universe. Now listen.
Our world. If a group can perceive sections of the blueprint of the collective consciousness in the planetary body in their service to self, they will only perceive that reality through the frequency vibration of their service to self level of consciousness. As a result, with some access to the higher knowledge in the planetary body, that group can severely abuse power and easily subjugate others who do not have access to this same knowledge.
Listen.
Yet, there are limitations in the perception of knowledge that is based on the genetic material and the fundamental frequency that is embodied, as well as the position the observer has in the field. Each consciousness can only perceive and see with relative accuracy the range of vibration and frequencies that he or she has actually embodied into their own station of identity.
Listen.
Those ranges of higher spiritual frequencies in the highest dimensional blueprint that are not conducted or embodied remain outside of one's perception and generally remain invisible to that consciousness or station of identity. Hence, that person will believe that those higher dimensions or the blueprint of frequencies are non-existent because they can't perceive them.
Ooh,
in this way, many entities and even humans that are service to self can only perceive the black tree of life, the clip oath, and as such they can use it to access a dark power source that can be conjured from black subtle forces in dead energy current. This is also called the clip oath current. It is the negative polarity, black force, miasma, and dead light that exists in these darker realms. Some ritualists reject the clip oath current, believing that what they are experiencing is actually light. However, it is dead light or false light current that is embedded with lies, artificial machinery, and many distortions in the creation. Thus, the general purpose of black magic and dark ritual used by the power elite is to pervert the higher knowledge for personal material gain for only a select few, and to perpetrate harm and steal life force energy and resources that belong to others. Otherwise known as the master-slave archetypal roleplay. From this mindset, it is both the hidden Luciferian and satanic agendas that desire to open the gate to the clip oath current. For them it is the twilight forces that are gained to harness for their power and selfish motivations, to play the masters on the material plane. As mentioned, when contacting and working with dark forces there are always severe debts to be paid, and for the dark ritualists, they are willing to give up their body to be possessed or utilized by these parasitic forces in exchange for some material power, knowledge, or hedonistic pleasure without sustaining that energy requirement themselves.
I mean, they
They
ain't
give
willing to
up
work
single
for
soul
it. They gonna
occupancy and
take
invite
it
a dark spirit into their body,
from us.
one that has the knowledge or qualities they want to gain experience in. This means rather than work for something based on their own personal merit, talents, soul, and energy source, instead they use ritual to take something from others in the external or from the dark entity, and use this for gaining higher knowledge through the lens of the dark forces, or for instant gratification that serves a selfish motive. The Luciferians use ritualists of Baal particularly revere the Belial consciousness and the related rituals that conjure him, as Belial is thought to be second to Lucifer in knowledge of Belial goes back to the Goetic legends of King Solomon in the Babylonian timeline. Belial may also be believed to be the Lord Law on the earth, whereby mastery of the earth and material plane can be sought through him.
Wow.
Additionally, some may believe the gate of Belial opens into the abyss, revealing many of the secret mysteries of the universe to the ritualist, who then may embody Adam Belial's power to rule on the material plane. The gate of Belial is represented as two towers of white and black, the light and dark sentinels on the Kabbalistic tree, that meet in a vortex portal that opens into the dark.
That's why they do that.
Calling for Belial's escort supposedly protects the ritualist from being destroyed by the forces of chaos that exist while traveling in the abyss to receive the universal knowledge. In order to open this gate and enter the portal, one is required in ritual to use sigils sealed in personal blood, blood covenant, and to request Belial to enter the ritualist's space, inviting this dark entity Gestalt into their mind.
And let me tell y'all something. I rebuke anyone who tries to use this, okay? I rebuke you. I rebuke you. And anything that you try, and I hope it backfires if you do try it, okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. This is not for you to go out and try to be a damn warlock, okay? Don't nobody got time for that. Now just pay attention.
Demon king on the earth, through what's known as Adam Belial. Adam Belial, wicker man in dark ritual. The male sexual organs represent the material body of the earth's creation in the numerology of 5, and this symbology is used in ritual to conjure Adam Belial. When the male body is circulating energy and connecting with all earthly elements, it is represented by the 5-pointed star geometry, which is known as the pentagram. Within the Kabbalah in its principle of divine light and truth, the perfect and complete form of the 5-pointed star is represented as Adam Kadmon. Adam Cadman accesses the kingdoms of light, the dimensional realms inhabited with benevolent, loving, positive, and truthful spirits. In the principle of darkness and lies, the adversary of the light, the material body is made in the male principle as Adam Belial, in which his will and wickedness is made into his material form to serve his selfish desires. Adam Belial accesses the kingdoms of darkness, dimensional realms inhabited with anti-life or evil spirits, demons, poisons, and also filled with negative form bodies, dead energy husks or shells. His correspondences are imperfect human desires made into flesh and used for selfish gratification, to take possession of power, royalty, and strength, in which to acquire the treasures of others' riches and wealth. In this way he seeks to imitate the Divine Father, stealing his knowledge and using it against him and his creation, by directing confusion into the brains and minds of the people. Through this mind control he uses the false king of tyranny archetype to carry out the oppression of God's creation. Within the structure of the Belial principle, he can perceive what the crown chakra, planetary mind, desires to create, and continues to split the creation into gender reversals in order to work against its natural and organic manifestation. His female counterpart is connected to the spirit of whoredom or prostitution, spreading sexual slavery, misogyny, and sexual misery programming. In some ritual circles, the conjuring of the Adam Belial consciousness and dark spirits into a person desiring riches, wealth, or knowledge of the hidden mysteries requires sacrifice, one of which is related to the Wicker Man. During the Gallic Wars, military campaigns waged by Julius Caesar, he documented that Celtic peoples in Central Europe used large straw wicker statues for sacrifices by burning it in effigy. An effigy is a representation of a specific person in the form of sculpture or some other three-dimensional medium. In current times, the Wicker Man has been symbolically referenced as a part of some neo-pagan ceremonies, without the human sacrifice, but burning the representation of a person. Although many people are not intentionally participating in the burning of a Wicker Man for satanic purposes, the Wicker Man has been used in satanic rituals for many ages, specifically for human sacrifice in order to conjure the dark spirits connected to the Adam Belial material principle. For the satanic ritualist or conjurer of Adam Belial, the dark power they are looking to collect from others and embody is the anti-life reversal of the male rod principle that exists in the organic crystal architecture, the higher horizontal layers connecting directly into the metatronic body in the AD and 9D time matrix. Essentially, the opening of the dot would lead directly to the black star Abaddon as described in Revelation chapter 9 verse 11. Essentially, the ritual involves the hijack of the organic solar body and ruby sun DNA of the Michael Nephilim consciousness, using pieces of the masculine solar body principle spark to ignite this process into the planetary field through artificial and organic 1111 gateways. To be able to access these gateways, they cannot sustain the life force energy inside themselves, so they use blood sacrifices to hijack the energy required to attempt to carry themselves into these higher dimensional planes and through stargates. This Adam Belial principle operates as the gatekeeper to the twin towers that opens the portal. This represents the ultimate access that leads into the complete mysteries of Thoth, that contains all of the hidden words of creation and mysterious knowledge that is held in all 10 spheres of the Sephiroth.
That's why they created
the Black
Twin
Sun creation.
Towers.
Apparently, it is believed when the ritualist opens the portal of Thoth, the heart complex and physical heart chambers are filled with life force, which supposedly grows a soul from those sacrificed and harvested, on behalf of those who are soulless. For those of us aware that the sons of Belial are behind the New World Order in the 911
timeline. Ooh. Do y'all hear how it cut off on me?
The Bluetooth device
Bluetooth disconnected because they didn't want y'all to hear that part. But we're going to rewind that.
The Belial program described they use blood sacrifices to hijack the energy required to attempt to carry themselves into these higher dimensional planes and through stargates. This Adam Belial principle operates as the gatekeeper to the twin towers that opens the portal. This represents the ultimate access that leads into the complete mysteries of Thoth, that contains all of the hidden words of creation and mysterious knowledge that is held in all 10 spheres of the Sephiroth. The Black Sun creation. Apparently, it is believed when the ritualist opens the portal of Thoth, the heart complex and physical heart chambers are filled with life force, which supposedly grows a soul from those sacrificed and harvested, on behalf of those who are soulless. For those of us aware that the sons of Belial are behind the New World Order in the 911 timelines, it becomes clear that humanity was held captive at a global scale to witness the sophisticated orchestration of an Adam Belial Luciferian ritual that destroyed the Twin Towers and killed many innocent people for the purpose of blood sacrifice for the soulless.
Listen, for the soulless.
The Belial program described as one faction of the Na'vi attempting to force the planet to serve the multiple invading species agenda through imposing artificially replicated time fields, inverting the system and generating a false reality based upon masterful lies, deceptions, and illusions. Those lies are sophisticated tactics used in psychological emotional warfare that are being waged against the eternal life principle, authentic human beings, and this deception is considered a sacrament to their Luciferian religion. The deviant priest class of Luciferians believe that it is a holy thing to lie and deceive the weaker masses in order to manipulate them to serve their agenda.
Or they think it's holy to lie.
Humanity is being increasingly saturated with dark ritual symbolism in everyday life. The power elite globalists have permeated and infiltrated every control pillar of society to drown us in Luciferian and satanic sigils and symbols that are intended to cast black magic spells that transmit blatant lies to confuse the public. We cannot fear spiritual knowledge and the honest truth, or deny the fact that many of those in power practice dark rituals and blood sacrifice and flaunt this fact to all of us every day through the mainstream media.
They do.
This is another example of why it is important to
Commercials,
discern what we are
music.
actually looking at in the global scape.
Yeah.
Looking for the deceptions being perpetrated and choosing to banish the lies, asking for truthful disclosure once and for all.
You gotta ask
As long as we believe in the lies that we are being told, and we hand over our consent to
The
be
truth
deceived
to
by
be
the power
revealed.
elite and now, we are giving them permission to continue to wage their wars, perform blood sacrifice rituals, and carry out their anti-human agendas.
Abortion is
Sun
a blood
DNA hijack.
sacrifice ritual.
The Belial sons
It
engineered bodies with a digressive DNA template that is based upon the original Ruby Sun DNA template as a method to hijack the Grail line created by the Guardian host in order to corrupt the lineage and run fallen angelic consciousness into the incarnations.
Listen.
Through the Ruby Sun DNA, they engineered an 11th reversal DNA strand in which their consciousness race line could inhabit. Hence, fallen angelic Anunnaki hybrids usurped the Ruby Sun DNA template to gain control over the 11th dimensional Stargate, Stonehenge, in order to generate the bi-wave holographic architecture that was needed to enforce their creations through to the lower densities. In the second harmonic universe, the Ruby Sun DNA became further mutated through the Draco Anunnaki 9-strand digressive DNA, as well as other Anunnaki hybrid fallen angelics that carry 9-strand mutated DNA. These race lines were used to infiltrate the power elite or Illuminati bloodlines in order to incarnate the fallen angelics onto the earth plane that would serve the Nod to gain full domination on the earth and to enslave the planet and her inhabitants.
Listen. Listen, y'all. I can't make this up, okay? At all. Now, I want y'all to go to, it says, the cultivation of gullibility. Woo. You know how a person be like, oh, you so gullible. Listen, it's a mother freaking, it's a ritual behind that. That is a spell that's been cast over you, basically, to allow a person to get over on you, just like gaslighting. It's a form of manipulation, and manipulation is witchcraft. Okay? So listen, soul fragmentation and banishing the lies. Let's go to cultivation of gullibility. Let's go. See what they talking about.
Cultivation of gullibility.
I haven't heard this one yet.
Published by Ascension Glossary. Thus, the intended goal of social engineering is to exploit the subconscious and to shift emotional dependence onto those who have accumulated the most wealth and power. This makes them the dominant authorities with full control over allocating all resources available in this world, while creating many different subclasses of marginalized and oppressed people. Those that are poverty-stricken and feel socially excluded are especially vulnerable to emotional exploitation, keeping them polarized on insignificant topics, and feeding into the promotion of lies due to the intentional cultivation of gullibility. Until we have developed the capacity to profoundly know ourselves, it is difficult to see the deeper and hidden motivations of others. When we lack self-awareness along with social awareness, it makes us much more gullible to others' deceptions. Gullibility makes us pliable to reality hijack, believing the deceptions and lies that we have been told by those we perceive as an authority, with the covert agenda to hold on to the most wealth and power possible, at any cost. No one can remain unbiased when they can be bought and sold for a price. This lack of awareness about the nature of this 3D reality further leads us into becoming cogs in divisive and harmful agendas, becoming the proponents that are being mind-controlled to actually support the controller's nefarious plans. In the current terrain of masterful deceptions and lies being propagated by those desperate to hang on to the status quo and global power, the issue of gullibility in the masses is being heightened and exploited. It is the tendency to automatically believe that imposters and actors are telling us the truth at face value that makes us easily persuaded into believing something that is entirely false. Many unethical and traumatized people on the world stage are addicted to power and continue to role-play a manufactured persona. However, it is the live-action role-players or LARPs that are being used by the NOC controllers to reinforce our 3D belief systems or worldview by feeding us lies. Many people tend to believe these actors on the world stage as telling the truth or being trustworthy, irrespective of the long list of facts and hard evidence to the contrary. Most people are refusing to dig deeper into hard topics and ask the difficult questions that challenge their belief systems, following through to investigate the larger picture that connects all of the pieces in this vast puzzle. Yet, this dedication to finding the truth within the taboo and hard topics is exactly what is needed, now more than ever.
Gotta speak up and speak
The
out.
controllers are master
Don't be
manipulators
afraid.
that scope out the emotional characteristics and hidden subconscious desires in order to exploit the known vulnerabilities in their victims through the spreading of vicious lies that are presented as facts. Tyrannical despots and authoritarian globalist leaders hide behind the strawman faces of a puppet democracy when they actually seek to simultaneously destroy its core humanitarian principles. By collecting massive amounts of personal data to profile their global audience, they are using surveillance along with a host of masterful deceptions to exploit the public emotionally. As difficult as it may be, we have to actually see that through targeted mind control, they have been successful in manipulating many people to believe outright lies. Their goal is to continually distract by inciting violence and destructive conflicts within high-profile interest groups, influencing gullibility in the masses. From behind the scenes, they polarize and confuse, shaping narratives to assign their blame upon those groups of people who they see as threats and who remain faultless in those specific issues. Directing disinformation as it's reported through the mainstream media prompts even more divide and conquer tactics to incite anger and self-hatred among the vulnerable populations. This is psychological warfare, plain and simple, much of which is based upon the spreading of lies and deliberate disinformation to keep the public massively confused and warring with each other.
Deliberate.
The imperative of these times is to be willing to open compassionate dialogues on challenging topics, to commit to be mentally flexible in order to seek the higher truth in the matter, and to do the research that backs up one's own opinions, whether or not it is popular or profitable.
Do the
To
research.
sincerely seek the truth and put forth the effort to find it
Seek
is
and
the
ye
only way to
shall
gain the clarity
find.
that is required to discern the many harmful agendas at play, finding the hidden motivations behind the intentional spreading of disinformation and lies. When we perceive the motivations behind the inverted facade, we can ask to seek the larger truth that is found in who or what actually benefits from those lies, and then we can begin to see what cost these lies actually extract from the human race. References.
And let's see what the references are on this one. Let's see. Yo, this is deep, y'all. I'm like propaganda and banishing the lies. Okay, most of us know what propaganda is, all right? That's what they've been doing to us this whole time. This whole time. It's all about control, mind control, okay? They have an agenda, right? They basically not only stole the woman's energy, but they distorted it. Because listen, they distorted it because they know the power that that energy holds, okay? And both men and women hold this power. This is why they try to subdue it. This is why they've just done all of these things, okay? This is why we have our electrical lines overhead instead of in the ground like they used to be back in the day. These lines were not overhead, okay? Once they got overhead, they basically they interacted with our frequency. It knocked us down a notch. Woo! Yeah, my hand itching. That's what. Ooh, y'all know what that means. Woo! And by the way, I am doing a fundraiser. I am about to open up a domestic violence house, okay? In the name of my mother, yes, the late and great Darlene Franklin, I am going to open up a domestic violence rescue house in her name, all right? That is my goal. That's what I'm working on right now. We're also going to be taking victims of drug addictions, because a lot of that stuff stems from domestic violence, right? Whew, we're trying to help people, okay? But I'm also trying to help them help themselves, right? Sometimes people need a second chance. Sometimes people need an extra little oomph because you see what's going on in this world, right? It's all staged. It's all staged. It's all a plan. They've done this. They've strategically mapped out how to cipher our energy, right? So now we have to figure out how to get it back, right? We taking the timelines back. Hey, time to take back the timelines, right? So we can change our story. We do not have to let this be our final, like the final countdown, the final frontier, right? Now keep in mind that the world may change as we know it, but I don't think the world will ever end, okay? The Most High created these things, and there was harmony on earth at one point in time. And we can create some harmony again, baby. That's why they stole that frequency. Harmony, that's music, right? So they stole her sacred frequencies, her sacred notes, right? I was listening to the music teacher, right? I remember back in the day they used to do do re mi fa sol la ti do. Right now they don't do that. It's like do ra re mi. They going backwards instead of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, don't say that, baby. Don't repeat that. Okay. Do not allow your children to indulge in certain things. Okay, you have to just think about what we used to do when we were a child. Back then, that this stuff was not it wasn't tainted like it is now. Okay, I remember we could eat snow back in the day. We ate snow. The snow didn't burn; it melted. Right? It was real snow. So we thought it could have been fake snow then too, but it was different. It was different snow. Like everybody used to eat snow back in the day. I never really ate it because I never, I just never really the thought of getting it off the ground and like, you know what I'm saying? I made mud pies, but I, what I'm saying, never eat it. Like I'm not no. But anywho, so what they have done is just distorted everything, right? They distorted it through this electricity, the frequencies, the harmonies, the frequencies, the music, megahertz, and things like that, right? We are the supercomputers, okay? And they're developing a super duper computer, so they say, to basically coincide with these supercomputers, right? So they want us to basically download our consciousness into this machine in some way, in somewhat, we are doing it. If you're online through Facebook, if you're online on Instagram and all those things, even me on YouTube, you don't think that they're monitoring my thoughts, trying to calculate what I'm gonna do next? Okay, but good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, let me tell you, I've been fighting my way through this. I've been fighting my way through this because I am determined to take the timelines back. There's a glitch in the system. We have to correct it. Period. Period. Once you know the problem, you can fix it. Like I told you before, there is a solution to every problem. And I'm not saying that I have the solution to every problem, but I have some solutions to some of these problems that we got going on out here, okay? And who am I to be a connoisseur of information? I'm not going to keep all of this valuable information to myself. Just so what I can save myself. So when the shit go down, everybody else getting, you know what I'm saying? And I'm the only one that's being saved? No. No, it's not going to be any fun with me on this earth all by myself. Is you crazy? Huh? I still, listen. Quit playing, y'all. We are at war. Well, excuse me. I keep saying we are at war, but we, in a sense, are at war, but they are at war with us. Okay? They've been at war for us for eons. Long time. And I believe we snap out of it and then they somehow snap us back in because they're manipulating the timelines. They reverse the water flow. All right? They reverse the water flow in the Mississippi River. They reverse the currents from the electricity, DC, AC, all that. Yeah. So they're manipulating us through the phones. I keep saying through the televisions, through all of these devices, okay? But what we have to do is use these devices as a tool, like what I'm doing right now. I'm using this device as a tool to connect with people, to teach people, and to wake them up. Basically, woo! We're gonna wake them up, baby. Wake up, wake up, wake up. We have to, y'all. It's time. Put it like that. It's just time. All I can say is it's a glitch in the timelines. And we got to take the timelines back. We taking the timelines back. What? Taking the timelines back. We can rewrite our story, y'all. And I just need y'all to know what's going on so that y'all can take the timelines back, okay? They changed your timeline. All this stuff that's going on in your life, it went on because they disrupted your timeline. That just, it does something to my spirit to know that these people came in and tried to destroy something that was so great and so powerful because they were afraid. But it also lets me know that, damn, the ones who they're doing it to, you know that you, listen, know that you are a powerful person, because if you wasn't, these people wouldn't be coming at you like that. They wouldn't be trying to distort your timeline. They wouldn't be trying to SRA you to mess up your mind so that you cannot accomplish your goals, your mission, what you came here for. They know what they're doing. And then they're stealing all of your consciousness, your memories, things like that, so that it will be distorted in your mind, so that you wouldn't know what to do. But ask God to release you from those things, okay? Ask the Most High to decree that the enemy will not be able to take over your mind any further, okay? Take your mind back. Request for your body parts to be returned to you, okay? I'm telling you, speak these things into existence. If you notice something's going on up in here, I need you to stop and think and say, you know what, hold on. These are not my thoughts. This is not of me. Especially if you know you're not that type of person. That's what I had to do. I had to take a step back and say, hold on. Whoo! Mother Scruncher almost had me fall all the way down to their level. Just so that I can freaking communicate, okay? No. You ask for a sovereign heart and a sound mind, okay? You want a sound heart and a sound mind. So you ask the Most High to grant that to you, right? You're speaking to the Most High in you and the Most High out, the God in you, right? And the God outside of you, all right? Listen, there's nothing wrong with responding. Who the fuck else is going to give you the freaking advice that you need? This is our problem. We're always getting advice from outer sources, right? Because they tell you not to answer yourself when you're talking to yourself, asking yourself a question. They say don't answer yourself. I don't believe in that. Yes, answer yourself, because if no one else has the answer for you, it gotta be you. Who else can have the correct answer for you except for you? You're asking, you're seeking advice, right? And it's okay to get advice from yourself, because you can have a whole debate with yourself. And at the end of the day, you're going to come out with an answer. You're going to come up with a conclusion, all right? See, these outer entities, they're going to tell you what you, A, want to hear, or B, what they want you to do, or C, some old other shit to cause you to go in a whole nother direction. So that's why it's really not good to get advice from outer sources. It's not good to go to counseling and get, you know what I'm saying, counseling from someone else. Who can tell you, like, how to take care of you? You have to go within, right? Communicate with yourself. And believe me, you will get the answer. You will get the answer. If you're listening, I'm always talking to you. See, they're blocking the frequency, so a lot of times you can't hear it because they're blocking the frequency. So I'm asking y'all, right, to research. Do your research, okay? And at the end of the day, please make a donation to our foundation. Your donation could definitely save the nation. You can go to me at, Cash App, Missy, MISSIE, Recycle, all right? And Cash App, and you can donate whatever you like, all right? Like I said, the proceeds are going to help me create a establishment for domestic violence victims and drug addicts, all right? We got to clean them up, baby. We got to clean them up. This is the time. This is the time. So if you're down with the movement, I'm asking you to donate to my organization. If you have any tips, feel free to give me some of those. Like I said, I went to construction school, so I know how to build it, and I know how to put the electrical. I know how to do all of that, okay? Yes. So this is my goal. I want to build something from the ground up, right, on my own land, to where as though I know that this is going to be something that will go from generation to generation. Yes, I want to build something from the ground up, right? Something that I know will go from generation to generation, and we're going to help people. We're going to help people because that's what I do. Missy Recycle, baby. Woo! Listen. Infinity TV. I am your host, Chantel, better known as Miss Recycle, and you are officially on the Wake Up and Smell the Coffee show, baby. You spilling these coffee beans, y'all. Donate, donate, donate. Make a donation. It'll help save the nation. I promise you. Peace.